Hi, I'm Steph, and I'm out here at Maclay Gardens State Park, and this is actually the very first place I ever kayak, so it has kind of a special place in my heart. But they used to have rentals that they rented here, the Rangers you can rent from, but recently I was out here and I noticed they had this station, and this is a station that is basically all controlled through your smartphone. It is something where you can just do the rental yourself, and there's lockers here for all the gear, so I wanted to try this out to see, is this the future of kayak rental? Is this something that we're gonna see adopted in more places? I was looking on the website for this company and there are 7 locations so far. So let's check it out. All right, so I have my phone here and it says to scan the QR code to get going. So I'm gonna scan the QR code here and I'm gonna see what the process is. And it starts out with a video, and then it's gonna ask me what I want to rent. So I'm gonna rent just a kayak for $14.99. Daily, no, so it's daily. It looks like for the whole day it's $40 and for the hour it's $15. So I'm gonna do hourly. And it came up with my location. And I'm gonna continue, put in my phone number. There's a verification code. And then I'm going to put in my information. It does say a $50 temporary authorization will be placed on the card. And I can choose how to pay. Okay, so already a big fail. It doesn't take Apple Pay. So that means I have to literally physically go get my credit card. So not crazy about that. Okay, so I have my credit card information in here. Okay, so it says done. The rental will start today. Okay, great. So I don't know if it starts right at this moment because it says it will send me a text with what I'm supposed to do. So find the QR code on the locker. Which locker do I choose? Okay. Okay, so I guess I just pick any locker is my assumption, so I'll just go with this one here. Click when standing at locker, open locker. The door is opening. Well, a door opened, so there we go. Okay, so we got a paddle. Okay, so it does give me a countdown, 58 minutes left. So that is pressure because I'm not paddling yet. Okay, so let's take a look at what's in this locker because it's a little a mess. But there is a life jacket, a small life jacket, so I don't need this one. So I'm gonna try to hang this up for them. Although there's really not a good way of hanging this, so suggestion there, maybe make that better. So this looks like a child's life jacket here. So I'm gonna hang that up. And these look like adult life jackets, so I'm gonna take the one that is less moldy. It has that, you know, that smell where it's like, it's been outdoors. Yeah, it smells earthy. We'll call that earthy. They're just pretty cheap life jackets, nothing special, but it will, you know, keep you from falling. It does have a whistle. It's rusty, and that, I'm not sure if that would work very well, but I'm not willing to test that out for this video. I do want to point out the paddles. There's a drip ring that doesn't seem to stay in place on this side, so that's okay. There is no drip ring on this side. So the drip ring is kind of important to not get water on you. I already have water on me and I'm not on the water, but you know. And then I want to point out that these are not the same paddle. So I'm going to take off the life jacket for a second while I get everything else. So it says to please shut the doors after you remove the item, so I'm going to shut the door completely. I was noticing there is some rental safety on here, the safety, so I'm going to push this. So I ended up getting number 1, although I scanned number 8. So now I can see that number 1 actually unlocked. right here. So that's pretty cool. So this is the kayak that I guess is for me. So I'm gonna take this off. So this kayak actually is the kayak that we own, that we bought for $250 from Sam's a couple years ago. This is the same kayak actually. It had, the back looks a tiny bit different. I think ours might be a little bit different, but there is no seat, soft cushion on here, so that's not going to be the most comfortable. And these, I know because we have this kayak, these break really easily, and you can see that these clips are already broken, and there is a very big zip tie holding this in place. And this one is just tied in place. So I can tell you from owning this kayak myself that this is a problem. We actually fixed this issue recently by getting a 3D printed clip from Etsy recently, which I'll probably share in a future video. Okay, so something my mom actually is here filming, she just pointed out was there's a dent in this kayak. So I'm thinking the dent is from where it's been sitting on the system here. So that is, that's not ideal. I don't see any like puncture holes. So I'm gonna still try to kayak this. Okay, I did get a text message that says you need your mobile phone to return. When you want to return, please click here and you will be charged the full retail price of the kayak if you don't follow this process. So just feels like a little bit of pressure. So I will say I'm bringing a couple things with me that didn't come with the kayak. So the things I'm gonna bring is a towel, always good to have, some water. I am gonna bring some gloves because sometimes rental paddles are not very comfortable. A case for my phone. So this is a floating case, so this is good to have. You could also just put a phone in a dry bag, so it's a good idea to bring a dry bag as well. And I'm going to bring my hat because, you know, on the water, it's always good to have a hat. And I'm going to hit the water. Okay, so there's not really a good place to launch here, so I'm just going to kind of launch here on the side. The ideal is from the dock, but I don't want to carry it that far. So I'm going to try to put this sideways and then launch out from here. All right, so I'm just gonna go for a little paddle today. I've been on this lake many times in my various kayaks. So this is definitely like a pretty easy kayak to use. Overall though, I'm just very confident on this kayak, and I think most people would be. It's just a very basic, simple kayak, and the paddle is a basic, simple paddle, nothing special about it, but it gets the job done. Now, if you are needing to rent a kayak because you're not ready to buy one and you're going to be renting often, I do recommend buying a life jacket and a paddle because that can really help make a rental situation more comfortable. You can go to a store like REI and they have life jackets there where you can actually try them on and get an idea of what fits best for you. And then you can also try out paddles there. So they have paddles on display that you can kind of grip and hold in your hand and see how the weight is for you. And I've actually done a video about 9 different paddles that between me and my friend Stephanie we have, and we kind of tested them out, and so I'll put a link to that. But I would say if you're going to be renting, those 2 things will definitely make the experience better. And also getting a dry bag to put some supplies when you go in the water is always a good idea to have as well. So like I mentioned, there is no seat, there's no cushion on the seat. It's just hard plastic, and I will say it's not uncomfortable. It's actually pretty well designed if there's not a cushion on it, so I would say you wouldn't want to go for a long paddle, but for just an hour long, you'll be totally fine probably. But you could also bring some kind of cushion if you wanted to have something to sit on. So I'm heading back now. I just went around the lake just a little bit. I definitely have some time left on the rental, but I just wanted to get a feel for the kayak process, the rental process, and all of that. And once I get this all put up, I'm going to give my kind of final thoughts on this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and figure out how to do the return process. So let's take a look. I got a text message saying to click this link when you are ready to return. So I'm going to follow that and see what I need to do. So the website is very slowly loading. That's not ideal. Okay, so I have 26 minutes. Well, it says 26 hours left, but I'm gonna go I'm thinking that's minutes. So I'm gonna hit return, and it says return kayak to slot 1 and lock the lanyard in place. The locker will not open until the lanyard's in place. So now I'm going to hike that back up. Also, like, what do I do with my phone during this process? So putting it there. And also this screen, I have no idea what this screen is for, because when you click it, it says to scan the QR code. So I really have no idea what that is there for. Now, I personally would suggest that they have you do the locker before you put the kayak up, because now where I'm going to put this stuff. So I'm just going to lay it here to get dirty like it was before. And now I'm going to try to hike this kayak up by myself, which again is not ideal, but we're going to make it happen. Now, personally, I know this kayak weighs about 40 or 45 pounds because I have this kayak. So I am going to try to put this up by myself, because if you're kayaking by yourself, how would you do this? So here we go. Huh? No, I'm good. All right, so that's up there. Hands are a little dirty, but got that in place. And then I'm going to put the lanyard back in place through this hole here. And right here is where you clip it in. So that is now clipped into place. So it says to take a photo to make sure your kayak looks like that. So here we go. Photo, submit. Tell us about your rental. Was there anything damaged or lost? No damage from me. Now I did notice that damage from it kind of leaning down on here. So we'll see if there's a place to mention that. Please return items to the locker. And it says scan the code on the locker. Okay. And my time is still counting down, so I'm still paying for this time, which is really interesting. All right, so I'm gonna put the stuff back in. I wanted to show these little pegs. These are really not helpful. There's really not like a good way of hanging these, because that to me is like not ideal, because then you could get a hole in there. Ideally it would be to like hang it like this, but then that's not ideal, as you can see. So I'm gonna I guess I'm gonna have to hang it like this. Okay, so now I'm gonna take a photo of the locker as it said on the app, and I'll submit that. And then it says close the door. And it said share and rate. So I'm not gonna do that. And it said kayak complete. So I guess that means I'm done. So in all, it was actually $16.56 for the rental and for the tax. Okay, so I am done with the whole process, and I have a lot of initial thoughts on this. Bravo to this company for creating this system, because I do think this is a great way to be able to have kayaks available without having to have somebody here to manage them, and you can just get it yourself. Overall, this is not enough time to kayak. So the time, when the time starts of when your hour starts, it started basically I think when the locker opened, and so I didn't hit the water until maybe like 10 minutes later, and then the time didn't end until I like put the last thing in the locker. It's not enough time. I would prefer the time to not start. Maybe you get like, once you pay for an hour, but you get 10-minute buffer before and after, or make it like a 2-hour rental. I don't know, that was very stressful. I will say, the whole technical side of it, I'm a technical person. I like tech. I like the concept of this, but that was stressing me out. The like, how much time do I have left? Is the system gonna work? And when I first went back to the app, it didn't load right away. So I had to close it and reopen it, which I know how to do, but somebody that's not as technically savvy might have some issues with it. And then taking pictures, all of that time when you're taking pictures and everything, it looks like your time is still going. So you could easily be charged for another hour if, you know, if you haven't been able to do that in a timely manner. So I think all of that is pretty stressful. I also think that I'm not sure who manages the whole system and how often it's managed, because like I mentioned, there was a dent in the kayak. The seats were broken and really need to kind of be looked at. The life jacket was okay. It did have a kind of outdoor smell, but it was okay, so I think that's fine. That whistle, I probably would go with plastic so you don't get the rust that it's getting. The paddles were okay, but they have no drip rings, and inside of this locker it had 2 different paddles. So if you needed both of those, that would not be a good option. Really, I dislike that it didn't use Apple Pay or Google Pay, or, you know, a payment system that's already on your phone. You had to actually put in your credit card number, and that just takes more time, and your time like starts, and so it's kind of a stressful process. Kayaking is a very stress-free process and super enjoyable and chill. So this did make it feel a little bit more stressful. So on that side of things, I don't know, but I do like the concept. I think there's a lot of tweaking that could be done here, and some more like maintenance that maybe could be done. But overall, if you've tried something like this, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I do think this is a cool idea. The execution's not fully there yet, I don't feel like, but I think it's a good way to start and kind of get more accessibility to paddle crafts like this. And they do also have stand-up paddle boards, which I might try in the future. All right, thanks for joining me, and have a great day.